do for a living?
Yeah, so I'm a project manager slash program manager. Depends on where you work. Those are like interchangeable.
Okay.
Yes, over the course of my career, I've been called all of the above: a producer, project manager,
Wow.
program manager, product manager. It just depends on what the company guidelines are for those specific titles. But I mean, I'm glad that you asked me to come on. I always make the joke that like no one tells you in school that this is a career, because if someone had told me, I would have been like, I would be so good at that.
So was that a goal for you to become a project manager, or was that something that you eventually evolved into becoming?
It's just something. It's not even something that I knew existed. Um,
Really?
yeah, I mean, because there's project managers for all different industries. Um, so I went to grad school at NYU and got my master's in digital marketing and media, and wasn't really sure what I was going to do with it at the time. And I think I think the key moment, I guess, was I moved cross country, had this degree, student loans to pay, um, and then kind of was like, okay, I need to figure out where my skill set is going to be like best at use. And originally, my goal was to go into like a marketing manager type
Oh,
role.
okay.
And I was lucky enough to actually get a temporary job from someone that I had known as an account coordinator for a promotional company. Um, Basically, anything that's branded with a company name, they sold. And so,
Right.
one of the things that they were just starting to do at that time was offer up microsites to some of their clients. So I remember trying to figure out this built platform and how to upload products. And for it was so this particular client was it was an internal platform for Experian. They wanted to run a
Okay.
breast cancer campaign internally and be able to have people like purchase, the ribbons and t-shirts, and then all the proceeds would go to the Susan G. Komen Foundation. And so they had talked with a small, like, I wouldn't even call it an agency. It was literally probably some guy in his garage.
Really?
And so he had this like platform that he had built, and it was good enough for like the intranet service for people to be able to make those purchases, and it was for a good cause. But that was the first like hands-on experience I had with web, was figuring out how to upload products and like how the system works so that I'd be able to communicate it back to our client at the time. And then from there, I was like, I like really like this. There's probably like a whole lot more I could learn. And I ended up getting my first role um, with a really small digital agency, and pretty much just took my experience of being able to manage, a small product import, a small microsite, and then scale it to kind of some of the bigger companies that they were working with at the time. And then the responsibilities like were everything from scoping, figuring out what the requirements are for a project, and then being able to build them out. So creative, like what does the homepage look like? At that time, I didn't even know what the main pages of an e-commerce site were. And trying to learn and also keep the team on track at the time um, was pretty difficult, but I'm a pretty organized person in general. That's why like I kind of made the joke, like if I had known this was a career, I would have been like, I'd be so good at this. Like I'm the person who can't like work with clutter around. There's nothing on my countertops. But it's weird because in terms of like planning, typically not the planning type. So like in my everyday life, I wouldn't say that like I'm usually just like go with the flow, spontaneous. But like at work, that's all I know. So I'm like, I'm not sure if it's a good quality to essentially be bossy or if it's a bad quality, but I think at this point I get like tired of making decisions over the course of the week. So the weekend rolls around and I'm just like, yeah, whatever anybody else wants to do, I'm down.